Good evening and welcome once again to our programme Bits and Pieces. Well, the summer play scheme is now in full swing and we're starting this evening with some of the activities that have gone on in the last couple of weeks. And these are just a few of the 220 children who went to Weston last Friday. The trip was better than last year's because the weather was good and the tide was in, not like last year when it rained all day and we spent most of our time under the pier. This week's trip is to Windsor and the cost is 85p. If anyone would like to go, please come to the social centre on Thursday to book your seat.
And another play scheme activity is camping. Peter Davis, who is a teacher at Philwood Park Junior School, took 34 children camping last week. They spent 3 days at the Kelston Methodist Centre near Bath, where they camped in a large field and enjoyed themselves doing their own cooking over open fires, climbing trees and all the usual things involved with camping. They spent a lot of time canoeing and travelled as far as Salford in the boats, which is all good experience for them. There is another group of children going again next week from Tuesday until Friday.
And one of the students who has come over from Holland to help with the children is Paul Groenwegen. And he comes from a town called Zaandam, which is famous for its mills and factories which have been there for over 100 years. Paul helps with the art classes and is especially good at drawing clowns. He also plays the guitar and mouth organ and spends a lot of time singing and playing to the children and getting them to join in with his songs.
Everyone is now feeling the effects of the sugar shortage. It was just like pre-war days in the shops on our estate, rationed and then under the counter with it. This photo was took in the good old days last week. One of the reasons given is that most of the bulk of sugar from the West Indies is being sold to Japan and America at a price far beyond what we were prepared to pay. It seems if the country is to maintain its supply of sugar, the housewife will be asked to pay more for it, and if sugar prices rise, everything follows.
At Whitchurch Sports Stadium, Sunday, August the 4th, there's a race meeting of the Bristol Gazelles Karting Club. The first race is at 1:30, but practising starts at 11:30. The karts can do anything up to 100 miles an hour. This is the first ever go-karting meeting held at the Sports Centre and should attract and entertain a good crowd. A coming attraction, the 26th of August, there will be an open meeting, which means any go-kart enthusiast can take part.
Operation Facelift is now taking place at Philwood Garage. The forecourt has been fully concreted and a new canopy is now completed. 3 small shops behind has been knocked into one and will be a big accessory shop. There will be a 1-pump blender for all grades of petrol, and the offal pipes are being laid low into the ground for safety precautions, as the dip rod of the tankers touching overhead electricity would cause an explosion. Bill, the proprietor, said all this means improvement for the community and he hopes they will help to keep it this way by watching out for any vandalism and robberies of which he has more than his share.
And congratulations this week to Josephine Finnemore of 54 Connaught Road and Bernard Durston of 4 High Park Knoll, who were married at St Barnabas Church last Saturday. Their reception was held at Robinson's Club, St John's Lane, and they're off to Brixham on honeymoon. As we've been going around photographing the local weddings, we've noticed how many lady chauffeurs are driving the wedding cars and how attractive and smartly dressed they are. Last Saturday, I spoke to Mrs Shirley Drew, who is also a director of the company and has been chauffeuring at weddings for the last 7 years. She is seen here with her Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. Shirley says she enjoys the job very much because she likes meeting lots of people, and also ladies are much better at helping the brides either to calm their nerves or in helping them to arrange their dresses and veils.
The building of the new Eagle House Boys Club is now taking shape. with just the interior work to complete. The builders under contract is Benson's, and they are well ahead of schedule. Still with the youth clubs of Knoll West, the Old Boys of Broad Plain was hard at work last weekend and completely tarmacked the car park in front of the club. The Old Boys was supervised by Des Dallin. This now completes the work programme they set themselves, with skittle matches already taking place and the social club going well at weekends. So, what will they do now at weekends? I've got a good idea and Barbara agrees. Stay home with your wives. Ha 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 ha.
A place of interest still in use at Bristol South School is this building, which is all that is left of the old fever hospital built about 100 years ago. This is what used to be A block, an annex just for smallpox cases. Shortly before the war, the rest of the hospital was pulled down, but it was decided to burn A block because of any germs that might still be there. Anyway, along came the war and A block was forgotten. But when the war was over, it was disinfected, passed as safe and used as a nursery school. But for the last 2 years, this has been the new building of the Novers Hill Nursery School, a very modern educational complex. It offers everything young and eager minds could want. The nursery caters for 100 children between the ages of 3 to 5 years, and the headmistress is Miss Judith Cox, a far cry from an old fever hut.
Wishing a happy holiday to Mr. and Mrs. E. Webster of 115 Creswick Road, leaving tomorrow for a 3-week holiday in Vancouver, Canada, to stay with Mrs. Webster's 2 sisters, who've lived there for over 20 years. The flight takes 9.5 hours. The couple told us they will do lots of travelling, taking in America and Victoria. This is their 3rd holiday in Canada, but first for their son Graham. The tree you can see in the photo is a Canadian fir tree brought from Canada in a yogurt carton and now 6 years old. A funny note, Mrs. Webster said although there was no trouble in booking to fly to Canada, she has been trying for 3 days to book a taxi for 4 in the morning to take them to Temple Meads. That's life. Good night.
Good night.